key to a limit-free life is you find your own way to gratitude, but find a way. And you can make it quite easy. You can make it complicated, whatever personality you have that helps you experience it. Your relationship with money matters. I'm Michelle Perkins, and this is the Money and You podcast, where I will be breaking down your relationship with money, offering tough love money tips, and a money dating plan that will focus on lifting the barriers to success to help pave the way for better money practices and increased wealth. It's time to take control to live a limit-free life. It starts today. Hello, and welcome to the Money and You show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. Today is going to be a solo show, just me, and we're going to talk about things relevant to this week. It's Thanksgiving week. I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday, actually. It was always the holiday that my mom would do. So we would fly to Houston with the family. We usually spent the week, and my mom would go to town. She would never let us help. She had a big, huge Thanksgiving meal that she did every year that I particularly loved. My mom is not with us as of this year. She passed away in August, and my dad shortly after. So it's a very different Thanksgiving for me this year. And one of the things that I love about it is really a holiday centered around gratitude. And so I am determined, even despite having some pretty significant grief this year and tough times, it's been a big year of caretaking and loss. And so it made me think a lot about how we can have gratitude and challenges, problems, grief, all kinds of things simultaneously. Because I think sometimes when we're going through a lot, we think, oh my gosh, what do I have to be grateful for? This happened and that happened, and it can be anything. It can be, loss can be anything. Maybe you had 5 amazing interviews this year that took tons of your time, and you got, every time you came in number 2, but you didn't get the job. I hear that from people quite a bit, actually. It's a huge effort, and you get so close every time, and then just the job doesn't come through. You have a sense of loss from that, obviously. You can have a sense of loss in so many areas. There can be challenges in so many areas, obviously. We're human, we're living our lives, and that's just, I heard somebody recently say life gets lifey, and that it does for all of us. And it's consistent, things happen. So what I want is that I just want to impart the importance of gratitude. If you're like me, you got about 10 emails today, it's Monday of Thanksgiving week, talking about gratitude. All the experts are talking about gratitude. And so I feel a little weird, like I'm not tagging on. I really believe that it is a practice that is invaluable, absolutely priceless. I was also listening to and I've believed that for 30 years, by the way, before a lot of the people are talking about it. Tony Robbins, I did Personal Power about, 30 years ago, maybe more. And every time I would take a walk, I would say 5 gratitude statements to myself at the start of my walk. And I walked every day. So, or a run or whatever I was doing, that became a practice because he talked about that way back in the day. And it's been a practice ever since. And I have really felt the effects of it. When I don't do it, I feel those effects as well. It is a huge, huge part of manifesting the things that you want. If you're somebody who is like, I really want to manifest things, but I really don't know what that means and I don't know how. Well, I will tell you, starting with gratitude, that's really I wanted to say that's all you need to know, but it's not really, but it is so huge. It is probably the biggest component of manifesting what you want. And that goes for money. So for the most part, we focus on what we don't have, oh my gosh, or we focus on what we do have that we don't want. For example, I have so much debt. I don't have enough savings. I don't have a high enough paying job. The list could go forever, right? So we have to find gratitude for what we do have. And from that, things grow. And I truly believe that your abundance grows by being grateful for what you have. And that, kind of focusing in a positive way on what you have will begin to attract in more of that. And I won't elaborate on the whole manifestation idea, but if you can keep it that simple, it all starts with gratitude. And I have used it for so long, and I have seen so much magic happen. And I mean that. I surprise myself all the time. I'll put an intention out there for something, and I will be consistently grateful for what I have on a daily basis as a practice. Does that mean I never complain about things? Does that mean I never worry about things? Absolutely not. That would make me probably not human. So I get it. But what I am is I'm conscious. I'm conscious of where my thoughts are going. I'm conscious of whether I'm sort of wallowing in a pit or I'm elevating myself out of that into a positive vibration. And I use gratitude all the time as my tool. If I feel really low, and if I can get the energy and the gumption up to pull myself into a state of gratitude, suddenly my perspective is different. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Your perspective is different when you are thinking in terms of gratitude. And our perspectives are what we have to really manage. So they can go all over the place, of course, for all of us. But I'm pretty trained to bounce into a state of gratitude. And when I don't do it, eventually I get to that point like, oh, for 3 days you've been whining and you haven't been grateful. So then I go there and there's a shift and things start happening. And I just want to point out a book that I have loved. I've gone through it a few times. It's called Magic by Rhonda Byrne. This is a book that, I don't know, a while ago in my earlier corporate life, I would have never in a million years bought. But I heard about it from someone and I bought it. And it's a month-long challenge, really. And she guides you, well, she gives you a lot of background on the importance of gratitude and why it's so important. And then she takes you through a chapter every day for a month with a different gratitude focus. There's a focus on health, there's a focus on money, there's a focus on all kinds of things. So it's a bit of an effort to do, but I think 15, 20 minutes a day is about all the effort. And I found it to be extremely helpful for kickstarting a real gratitude practice, something that you can stick to. And actually, in sticking to it, the gratitude practice can get much shorter. It can take you much less time. But you will really get a sense from that book of what it means to have a gratitude practice and how to do it. There are a couple of tricks with gratitude. Back in the days when I used to take my walk and do my 5 things I'm grateful for per Tony Robbins, I was missing a little piece. And then I came across Danielle Laporte, an author of the Desire Map and Firestarter series. And I've loved Danielle forever. I used to facilitate workshops for her on the desire mapping process, which is amazing. And she instructed people to say what you're grateful for, but go kind of next level into why. So I'm truly grateful for my kids because there was always a because, and you would fill in that piece of it. And that goes so much deeper because, of course, we're all grateful for, so many things. I'm so grateful for my health. I can, walk and breathe and move. And but when you say I'm grateful for my health because something else happens, it forces your brain to really even go deeper into what it means to be healthy for you. And so I always do that now, and I suggest that people do, because it really, it's a deepening of your understanding of what you're grateful for. It causes you to think more, and it puts you, whatever that gratitude practice is doing for you, it gives it a boost. So I really recommend it. And the reason I brought up my mom and grief and all of that at the beginning was really because I think sometimes we think they're mutually exclusive. If we're going through a lot, then we can't do a gratitude practice because life is too hard. And, but I think that's when you need it the most. And so I do think you are allowed to be sad about things in your life, or to be, have a tough time or be depressed or whatever it is, and still use gratitude, because it helps you to see that despite whatever is going on in your life, there are other things that are amazing and magical and magnificent that you can focus on in your life. And I think that's really what Thanksgiving week is supposed to be about. And so we really look around and think about the things that we can be grateful for. They can be super simple. You can be grateful that the sun came out today because, and then you want to answer that because I feel energized when the sun is out and it boosts my spirit, whatever it is. But it's super important, I think, to just to know, to keep that practice going. If you haven't been using it, to use the practice to help you through whatever you're going through, and it will help you. That one I'd probably, I think if you really do it and you do it consistently, I'd be willing to guarantee. You can message me if it doesn't work for you. We could talk about it. But I really find it to be one of the most valuable tools I've ever learned in my life. And I've used it, like I said, for about 30 years, and I will continue to use it for the rest of my life. And I'm not alone. You don't have to believe me. You can read all the gurus who sent me emails this morning, and you'll see that they're all saying the same thing. And everybody has their own way, and that's key to a limit-free life is you find your own way to gratitude, but find a way. And you can make it quite easy. You can make it complicated, whatever personality you have that helps you experience it. So I want to talk about that. I also want to talk about it with respect to money, because how do we build a better relationship? Well, if you think about your other more human relationships, what about when you appreciate people? What about when you're grateful for them being in your life? What about when, even though they might drive you crazy or you're having conflict with them, there are things about them, most likely, that you can be grateful for. And that happens a lot at Thanksgiving when we have families getting together, and there might be family members that you wouldn't even necessarily see the rest of the year. But what can you be grateful for with respect to those family members? All of this, again, elevates your vibration, your good feeling, your positivity, makes you better at everything when you feel good, better at your job, better with your relationships, better with money. Money has a tendency to be left out of the equation when it comes to thinking of it that way. And money should be the same. Money should be, you should focus, if you can, on your abundance, even if you don't really feel abundant. So how can you go there? I mean, there are many, many things probably that are worrying about you, about your current financial situation. But even so, there are things to be grateful for. There are things that I know if I were talking to you, I could find them. I could pull them out in 5 minutes. I could pull out 10 things to be grateful for in your current situation. Maybe you hate your job, but maybe you have a job and you get a paycheck, and that paycheck is helping you in some way. So there are I really, really feel like money needs to be incorporated into a gratitude practice. I have a money journal page that I created that it really starts with, what am I grateful for with money today? And you put that down every day and you start putting yourself into a mindset that despite the worries you have, there are some good things happening with money. And the more good things that you think about and document and focus on and take in, the more energy and the more attraction will be coming your way with more abundance and more money and more good things related to money. So please don't leave out money in your gratitude practice. It is crucially important. If you would like one of those journal pages, you can message me or email me at michelle@limitfreelife.com. Happy to send you one. It's actually a part of my Money Date program. But this Thanksgiving week, I would love to give those away and have people start having a daily gratitude practice with money. I really believe that you'll see the difference. And I see other people having, experiencing that difference as well. Everything is about shifting your mindset. I was at a conference this Saturday, virtual conference, and a lot of people were business owners who had been stuck, were coming up and talking on a stage. And there were several of them who said, I got to a point, they were very successful. They wanted to go to the next level. We're having trouble. We're feeling stuck and getting frustrated and, kind of bummed out about it. And all of them who spoke that day came back and said, it wasn't new tactics or new strategies that I needed. What it was to figure out what was going on with me. There was something in me that was causing things to kind of stall out or get stuck. And typically those had to do with money beliefs. And that's where they broke through. They decided, you know what, I don't need just to learn more marketing or to learn AI or whatever everybody's telling them they need. What they needed to do was stop, go into some inner reflection and figure out what beliefs do they have or what ideas are getting in their way that are purely about themselves, about what they deserve, about what they're capable of, all of those kinds of things. So it was very interesting. And basically they said once they figured out that, their blocks that they're creating themselves, their own self-sabotage, they were able to literally break through and have new levels of success. So I kind of loved hearing that because it just really kind of confirmed how important it is to have that great relationship with money, to be grateful for what you have so that you can set intentions for what you still want. So if nothing else, if you're not even doing it because you have big goals or you want to break through something, just do it to uplift yourself and to enjoy this life because you are focused on what is good about it and what you can cherish about it and what you can reflect on that makes you feel, thankful, basically. So thank God for Thanksgiving. It's a week where we all stop and try to do this, but please keep doing it after Thanksgiving as well. It's a really good reminder. It's also a really good place to kickstart. And for people who feel like everything's amazing, sometimes we stop being grateful because we think, hey, everything's so amazing. I don't have to do this practice anymore. But that's not what it's about either. It's not a practice, just to solve problems or to get past something. It's a practice that you want to do wherever you're landing right now, whatever state you're in. And there, again, that's a mindset. If you feel like you don't need to do it because there's nowhere else to go, you might actually be putting a ceiling on where you could go and you don't even realize. So just keep doing the gratitude practice. If nothing else, you'll smile more and you'll be a better role model and friend and partner and everything else because you'll just plain old be happier in your life. So happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful week and look forward to seeing you next time on the Money and You Show.